Hi, I'm Lisa McCoy with Century 21 Sheets, and today I'm with Colleen Page of AMBA, and today she's going to share with us 5 things that you need to know to protect your nest egg. Colleen, thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate that. I would like to talk to everybody today about protecting your nest egg. So in your life, you are growing your nest egg and you have your home and you have your income and you have savings and so forth. But there are things that can drastically put a hole in your nest egg. When you turn 65, you want to make sure that you get on the right supplement for your Medicare. So your Medicare pays for 80% of your bills and you need a supplement to pay for the 20% that Medicare doesn't pay for. When you turn 65, they have to accept you with pre-existing conditions. So you want to make sure that you have an advisor that tells you which plan is best for you. I think everyone wants to put their head in the sand about something called elder care or long-term care. It's what's going to happen when we get to the point where we can't take care of ourselves. And unfortunately, it's going to happen to everyone. And most people put their head in the sand about it. So you need to have some sort of a policy or some sort of a plan in how you're going to take care of yourself in your elder years. There are long-term care policies that you can get. If you are 65 or older and you don't have that, then there are short-term care plans that we can get to help you through that. But the costs of long-term care are skyrocketing and you really don't want to self-fund that. That will be a huge hole in your nest egg. Okay. Cancer is the #1 reason people file medical bankruptcy in the United States. The cost of treating cancer has become horrific. $170 billion in 2020. It's up 40% from 2010. There are experimental treatments, there are very expensive drugs when you come home from having chemo or you have radiation or you have surgery that unfortunately the health insurance doesn't cover all of it. And the cost is really, it just keeps going up and up and up. And so we really think that you have to have something to protect you from that. So there are cancer policies that are very inexpensive that can help pay for what your insurance doesn't pay for. Cancer is also a hole in Medicare. People think Medicare is going to cover everything. Well, they do a pretty good job. They cover you when you're in the hospital, they cover your doctor, they cover your chemo. But a lot of times now cancer treatment has evolved over the years, and a lot of times now you're going to come home with some sort of a prescription. And the prescription amounts are astronomical. And that, unfortunately, in Medicare goes to your Part D drug plan. It's considered a Tier 5 drug, and they only pay 30 to 50% of it. So when you're talking about something that might cost you $1,000 a day for 30 to 60 days, that's a pretty big chunk of money. So that could be a pretty big hole in your nest egg. Okay. Heart and stroke is another problem that your insurance doesn't really cover very well. They do cover some of it, but heart disease is the #1 killer of people in the United States. And so therefore, you can be out of work, you can have a triple bypass that might cost $100,000 if you have to pay for 20% of that, and that's a lot of money. So there are some small policies out there that can cover that, but you need to think about that. So that is another big problem that can cause a hole in your nest egg. Ambulatory services in the United States are private. They are not regulated by any agency, so they can charge anything that they want, and they do. Most of your companies will cover part of the ambulance if it's deemed medically necessary. Now, you and I don't know what they're going to decide is medically necessary. So it's important for you to understand that and that you can call 911 with confidence. There are policies out there that are ambulatory policies that will serve you well no matter whether you're on Medicare or you're on a regular health insurance plan. Just for an example, if you decided to take your children or your grandchildren to Orlando, to Disney World, and something happened there. Either you had an accident or you had a heart attack or something really bad happened that caused you to go to the hospital, and now you can't drive home. Say you drove down there, you can't drive home, you need to be flown back home, and you can't go on a commercial airlines. So the company's going to come pick you up, the air ambulance, they're going to bring you home, and your spouse or whoever's traveling with you, your children or your grandchildren are going to have somebody come from that company, and they're going to bring them home on a commercial airlines, and they're also going to get your vehicle home. If you call for an air ambulance, it might be $25,000 to get you from Florida to Indiana. That's a big chunk of change, and that's a huge hole in your nest egg.
Thank you, Colleen. That's awesome information to share with everyone. If you'd like a free private consultation with Colleen, reach out to her at one of the numbers on your screen. Also, if you need a free home buyer or home seller consultation, feel free to contact me. You can reach me at lmccoy@c21sheets.com. Also, follow me on Facebook at McCoy Moves You.